we were investigating last night. We were at Bramhall Village Hall, which is near Leeds.
Right.
Um, so it was a good night. It was a good night.
I was going to actually ask you about that. I did see it on your Facebook page.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
are you an event company then, you guys, or do you just?
yeah, yeah. We are. So the team that I've got, they're amazing. They're really, really good. They're really passionate about it. And you know, like they're a good bunch to work with. I think I've got a lot of trust in them, and that's the main thing. Trust is a big thing, especially when you're
Yeah.
putting events
Yeah.
and when you're hosting customers. Um, and I think we've all got our own little quirks, and yeah, we just all fit together really, really well. There's no like, what I mean. There's no arguments or anything like that. Generally, they're all, they're good people. They're good people to work with, and yeah. So I had the idea of basically the Northwest for me, whenever I would look into like the paranormal, it's a bit of an untapped area, really. I know obviously you're doing doing their bits, but
Yeah.
other than that, there's actually not much else here. And historic wise, like there's so much history. Like I love history, anything to do with history, I love it. And that's kind of why I've got into the paranormal side of stuff. But yeah, so for me, that I wanted to focus on the north and northwest. Um, and yeah, that's why we're here. I know I was in Yorkshire last night, but it's only about 20 minutes away from me, so I'll class it as the northwest. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. We're doing immensely well, and the team's doing really, really good as well. And seemingly the customers are loving it when they come as well. Um,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
So
What?
go on, guys. I know that I probably started talking about stuff which you're going to ask me, but yeah, sorry.
No, no. What? How many have you got in your team?
So there's four of us all together,
Yeah, yeah.
including myself. So there's me, Jasmine, Lee, and Paul.
Right.
Um, and we're all of similar age, I would say. I think Lee's probably oldest. But yeah, we're all, like I said, we're all similar age, and we all, yeah, we like I said, we just bounce off one another, and that's what you want, don't you? I mean, end of the day, like we my thoughts about the paranormal is it's all energy based. Like that's what I think, like energy. And we were talking about this the other night, and I don't think there's any coincidence where, like when you go and do a ghost hunt or something like that, and you all, like the group that you're in, you're all just doing your own thing and you're all talking between one another and having a laugh, having a joke. And next thing you know, something happens. You go, what was that?
Yeah.
And like that's what I feel. And I think the customers, when they come to us, they understand that we just want them to have a good time. And when I say a good time, like to make them feel eased in, and if there's people there who've never done it before and they just want to give it a go, then actually they come and they go, do you know what? Actually, I'm not into the paranormal side of stuff, but actually I did have a good time when I come. They were really welcoming and really friendly, and we had a good laugh. Which there's a lot of seriousness in the
Brilliant.
paranormal world, isn't there?
Yeah. 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 Too much seriousness in the paranormal, I think.
Yeah,
Not to be not to be kind of flagrant about the whole lot, but I think you think about things a hell of a lot in the same way as we do. With you saying a lot of it's energy based,
yeah,
we have our own theories along those lines. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I think the thing again, we were talking about this last night as well, and I think in the paranormal world, and again, like so we when I used to work for a different company, I didn't see it from a point of view of where I see it now, because I weren't in the groups, I weren't in the chats, and now I am in the chats, and I think everyone tries to, everyone puts their own opinion together, which is fantastic because that's what it is. It's an opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I think there's people out there who try and push their theory and don't take on anybody else's theories. Like one of
yeah,
the things which I I have my own views about like spirit boards and stuff like that. But if someone comes to an event and we're like, we want to do a spirit board, it's like, fine, crack on. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Let's do it. Because that's what people are coming and that's what they want to do. And if that's
that's
what people
that's
want to
right.
do, it's
Uh,
great.
yeah, what is it that you're going to be chatting about at the Parachat then, Jack?
So what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to come and I didn't want to give the whole spiel of, I this is Paranormal Inc. and these are our events. Please come to our events because I just thought it was quite boring, to be honest. Generally, I think that's like a really
Well,
boring subject.
throw it in.
Yeah,
God, we don't mind. You can give as much uh,
yeah,
of your group as you want on the day. It's
yeah,
like with people who are asking us, "Oh, can we live stream?" Of course you can. Can we take photos? Yes, take
yeah,
photos. You just do anything. Well, within reason, do anything you want.
yeah, yeah. What I'd like to talk about, and so Lee, who's part of our group, he's actually a double amputee. Um, and so it's going serious now. Sorry. So he's a double amputee. He won't mind me joking about it. He's fine, by the way. So he's a double amputee, and last November, he basically went in to go and have his second leg removed, basically
Right.
into hospital. And the guy is an absolute inspiration. To it when you meet him and you realise what he's done, and put it this way, last night he was there with his wife on on his legs, walking upstairs. He's basically used paranormal and his family and everything like that to come around and actually get back up and get going again. And he's an absolute inspiration. So something revolving around like the mental health and like what actually the paranormal world means to us as a group, because like we all lead busy day-to-day lives, and I think me, Paul, Jasmine, and Lee, we've all got our own little stories, and I think it's probably just we're all just normal people. At the end of the day, the one thing that's
Yeah.
brought us together
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
this one strange subject in people's mind, but it does bring us together, and I think it's just passing that message on of like the world that we're in and the world that we go on. We're trying to find this piece of evidence that it's actually all brought us together. And I wanted to do something along the lines of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'd like for all the guys, like they've all got their own little stories and their own little
Yeah.
tales, and how they've all been got involved and the motivation to come to the events, even though they're not feeling great or they've had a bad week and all that. And I think hopefully it can kind of be a bit of a look. It's that there are hard times out there, but we can do it. We're here to support you, and this is why we've done who we've done. And I
yeah,
think generally as a group, the people who've come to our events, and we've got some really, really good friends. Like I'm so surprised at actually how much of an impact. It sounds weird. I'm really, but I don't like bigging myself up, but how much of an impact we've had in terms of like with different teams that we're working with. And I mean, like Twin Best, like we're friends with from Paranormal, which there's loads of different people who've just got involved with, and I think it's just because we're just nice people, and people can see that interest that we've got is just because we're nice people and we want to share the same thing as what they want to share.
mm,
So
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's a great community, isn't it? It's a good community of
amazing.
like-minded people, and the only thing that ties it together are we're the ones who ask the questions. It's in your blood, isn't it? You just need to know, so you go out and
Yeah,
pursue it. It's wonderful.
yeah,
well,
yeah, and
that's what we're about. We want to provide that platform for this type of thing, and
yeah.
we want it to be for everybody, and this is a massive part of it as well. So it's good that you're bringing that to the table.
Like I said, I just wanted, because it's something very close. I mean, we've like Lee's been through it. Like we were talking to him last night about it, and Lee's been through his own journey. And like I said, because you will meet him, when you meet him, he's an absolute inspiration. He's an absolute inspiration. He's amazing. He's done so well to get from November last year to not having any legs to actually being able to walk around a building in the dark, and
Right?
do ghost hunting and get back up and crack on. Like, and he's used us starting this event company as a goal for him to keep going, and because he wants to work the events, he wants to be there.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, he's done absolutely fantastic, and I think, like I said, we've all got our own little stories, but we've all almost used, like, I guess, Lee's story as, like, yeah, you might be feeling down, but listen, like, just look at what Lee's done, and it almost just gives you the motivation just to keep going. But then on the other side, obviously, we do want to, do drop in. We're an events company, and the reason why we all got together is because we want to be able to give people there's a lot of events companies out there. There's a lot, and they all do amazing. You know, there's some really, really good events companies, and we're not trying to go, look, we're the best. But we'd like to think that people would like to join us because we're good people to be with. And at every event, it's the same people that go. So, you know, like it's a friendly face when you come to an event.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of the proof of the pudding, isn't it? The people who return.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we've only done, I think last night was our fourth event. But yeah, then like you can tell just on like the people that are coming to the next few events, the returning customers. So,
Yeah,
which is really, really good. And you know, it's just nice and doing stuff like this. You know, never in a million years did I think, you know, when I launched the Facebook page in January, I'd be sat and going, right, okay, well, we're gonna go to you know, like the Parachat talk or like stand on a stage and do a talk in front of people who, you know, like generally we didn't think that that would happen. And yeah,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
getting some really good opportunities, and we appreciate the opportunities as well. You know what I mean? Because you guys are giving us a platform to be able to tell our story.
I was just going to say. I mean, I'm going to echo Mark's words from earlier. That's exactly why we've put this on, and rub shoulders with you, and have a beer with you at the end of the night as
Yeah,
well. That's going to be the most important thing. Yeah.
yeah. We've managed to get to know a few different groups and a few different people, you know, like TikTokers and YouTubers and who are in this world. And yeah, we're excited to go and meet more like-minded people as well. And because, like I said, you know, one of the things which I've said to the guys, which I've always wanted to do, has been a lot, you know, a lot. Sorry, I'm not speaking good English, but be be open-minded with people's opinions and people's thoughts about it, and not come across of like, no, we don't believe in that, or that's the wrong way to do it. There's no right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what we're doing, there's no right way or wrong way. It's your way, and if you feel like that's the best way of you being able to either get some evidence, communicate, or however you want to do it, it's your way of doing it.
I
And
think
That's a great mindset to have. Yeah.
it was
yeah,
strange, wasn't it? Because Tony and I are from PSI as well, and we're scientific and evidence based, and people are like, "Well, you're putting this on, but you're not like that." I said, "Well, we're not skeptical. We all right. We're
yeah,
evidence based, but everybody else has got their theories, their
yeah,
evidence, what they want to support. Do you know what I mean? What
yeah.
they want everybody to see. So we're not total skeptics, by the way, because we're not.
No, but I think I actually think, and I say this to the guys and I say it to the customers as well. I actually think it's really good to have a skeptic mind about it because something can happen on an investigation and you can almost get completely and utterly lost in, you know, like the madness that's happening in within that minute or 2 minutes or the
Yeah.
piece of evidence that's come through and not be able to rationally think about it. And I think it's really good to give a rational thought about it and try and come up with some reason of why it happened. And then if you can't come up with a reason why it happened, you sat there and going, okay, well, that's actually a piece of evidence there because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we've tried to you know, use the word debunk, but we've tried to debunk everything and we can't find a reason for it. Like it's amazing. And that is, you know, like we our investigations last around about 5 hours,
Yeah,
but like it could be a minute that is in someone's mind for probably what another however long that makes them book another event or go to
Yeah.
somebody else
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's great. That's what we're there for.
how long have you been interested in or researching the paranormal? And
So it's weird. I mean, it, I'm 31 myself, and I've been brought up by my parents, so mainly my mum, watching Most Haunted on TV, and you know, going, you know, I was in that era where we were on living TV and stuff like that, and like as a teenager, I love watching that kind of stuff, and I was always interested in it. And I always, it's really really weird. I always felt there was something, you know, like I had my first experience when I was 16-year-old. I was help filling shelves behind a bar for my stepmom, and I saw a figure just walk past me, and I said, you know, there was no one at pub. It was empty, and I said to my mum at the time who was working, you know, she was working there. I just explained like what I saw, and she's like, yeah, there's nobody there. And that was my first ever time of like going, okay, that's interesting. And
I was just saying, wow, you know, to see that that's that's kind of like what everybody in the paranormal world wants to experience. They want to see a figure walking past them. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I actually wished I probably had a bit more of a realization of what it were at the time. Like if it was now, I'd probably be a bit more like, oh my God, like what have I just seen? Whereas then I was just working. You know what I mean? Like I weren't even like,
Right.
you know, like acknowledging what it was. And yeah, and then from then, like I mean, like I live in Burnley. For 7 months I've lived in the oldest house ever in Burnley. Like it's a really old cottage on a farm. Um, doors used to open on their own and stuff. You know, just like weird stuff where like again, if you say it now, you're going, that needs to be a place where you go and investigate. But I was just living there. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And I think probably I've kind of just been surrounded by it quite a lot, unintentionally. And then out of nowhere, one of my friends who I used to work with, she worked for an investigation company. And I like history, you know, like I've mentioned, I like history. And it was just, do you want to come to an event? I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. It was at an RAF museum. I like planes. I like, you know, be interested in walking around a dark building at night. Yeah, cool, give it a try. And since then, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I think I've always had it in my mind that I want to be able to do something myself, not necessarily paranormal, but like business wise. I've always wanted my own, you know, setup and yeah, do something where I've got control of something. I think one thing that I really, really struggle with is giving control to other people. You know, being able to do it myself. And you know, we had a really, really good opportunity to do this. And yeah, and now we're here. So yeah, it probably has been by watching TV and almost kind of being surrounded by it a little bit. And I mean, my mum comes to the events with us and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just probably from that really. I don't think there's anything special about it. I think it's just being surrounded by it a little bit.
Can I ask you about, is it Chirk Mill?
Yeah.
How did that go?
So we were at, well, we have. Are you on about the one with? That's next week.
Oh, you haven't done it yet?
Yeah, so we
Oh,
haven't
right,
done it. So
okay.
we've been to Chirkmill. So we went a few weeks ago just to do an investigation there. But us as a group on our own.
Yeah.
And hence why I booked it because I thought it'd be a really, really cool place to go. I generally everyone was like, "How have you managed to do it?" I don't know how I managed it. I just emailed him. Like generally, I just emailed him. I saw on his TikTok that he was coming to the UK, and I thought, "Don't ask, you don't get." Like
Exactly.
I'm a salesperson by trade. So like, if you don't ask, you don't get, dear. And I just emailed him, and he come back to me like within 20 minutes. I'm like, wow, like that's pretty cool. Um, and we're excited, like we're really, really excited for it. And I mean, from a platform point of view, like I'm excited to actually be able to talk to him and you know see how he's managed to build his profile up and you know get an understanding of his business mind and
Yeah.
because that's another world which we want to get into, like the TikTok world. It's so tough. It's so tough. But just to see how he's done it, and you know, that, again, you know, like you said, you talk to people and get to know how people have done it, and
Hmm.
hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of bounce some ideas around.
When's that coming up? Did you say next week?
Next Friday, mate. Yeah, Friday 13th, unbelievably.
Oh,
So is it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
yep.
I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or not, but yeah, no, it is. It's Friday the 13th. He put on in his socials that he's coming over to the UK for I think it was 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and he wanted to do some ghost hunts, and he like just give us a shout. So I was like, oh well, we're doing a ghost hunt here. I can arrange it. I know it's a good place. You know, it's a historic place. Tracy, who owns Chirkmill, is fantastic. She's a really good person. Um, do you fancy it? And he was like, yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
no, yeah.
Results.
I think it's just like one of the, you know, like one of those weird coincidences where it just works out.
Yeah.
Like he's been really, really good. So like he's like shared our stuff on social media, he's commented, and generally just you can't ask for any more really. And I think, and again, it. I was saying this to the guys. It's only going to benefit everybody because the more you know, like if we manage to be able to get that relationship with him and for him to understand where we come from, then there's no reason why, you know, we could even do an event where we're hosting. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to take him something, you know, like branded, so like a hoodie or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I'm a big lad, but I was like, oh, don't know, I wouldn't know what size to get. I was like, I can't do it, so I've got him a hat. But
Plain safe, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've got a massive head, so whether it fits my head and it might fit it, I don't, you know what I mean. But yeah, no, I think it's just a very, very weird coincidence that it's happened.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
a good thing.
like,
It's good. We've asked everybody we've spoke to about this. Are you specifically ghosts and spirits, or do you look into other things like UFOs and cryptids and things?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't opened my horizons to that side of stuff. When I say we're a ghost hunting company, but again, it depends if people want to come and do that, then we're open to it. You know what I mean? We're absolutely open to looking into that kind of stuff. We are a paranormal investigation company, hence the name Paranormal Inc. I would defy paranormal as
Mm.
paranormal, something that's not, you know, not normal. Yeah, and you know,
I'm saying that as well because Tony and I with PSI, we go out and do like sky watches, you know, UFOs and things like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and one of the other teams, they're part of them is big into the UFO side of it, and they're like on a sky watch. People just they all pile down and you get barbecues and all sorts going,
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like a big
yeah.
outdoor party.
It's a good
yeah,
social as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I think, like I said, I'm open to it. I haven't looked into it. Like generally, my my um my involvement with the paranormal world has always been ghost hunting. That's what it's been. But you know, like I'm open to listening
Mm.
to people's opinions and people's, you know, what they've seen and what they think they've seen and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you know, like by all means, if that's what people want to do. And like I said, you know, the guys who are doing the talk at the, you know, the convention, can't wait. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, we'll listen and we'll take it all in. 'Cause that's what we're here to learn as well. You know what I mean? We're only young. As a
Oh, God,
company, we are absolutely young, and we need to open our minds to it.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
I had a weird thing happen last night. So, and again, like when it comes, so obviously as an event company, we've got lots of devices. You know, we use devices because that's what people like to do. And again, it gets people, you know, if you lead in a group and the customers maybe don't know one another or little bit like don't know how to get involved,
yeah.
we always find using equipment, it's a really good way because people were like, oh, what's that? You know, and they'll question stuff. But we don't take equipment as gospel because there's you know it, there's a lot of stuff out there which, you know, debunks equipment and stuff like that. But we like to think some of it can come true, and then you can kind of hopefully build something on, you know, and work on that. Anyway, so last night, I just set up. I got it. I bought it a few weeks ago. Have you seen the device? What it is?
No,
So
no.
basically, it's got a word bank on it. And you the story of it is it's got different conversational techniques. So basically, you can put different settings on it, and you can ask different questions, and it should hopefully bring up a different conversation. But within it as well, you've got an EMF, temperature sensor, and air pressure sensor too. So it's, you know, it's a pretty cool piece of kit. So I just put it down last night, and we weren't concentrating on it. We were just basically just doing, you know, having a little bit of calling out and whichever. Anyway, how I'm going to get onto this story. So last week, my stepmom's brother passed away. He was called Jason. He was 59. He died in his sleep of a heart attack on
Oh,
Wednesday.
right.
And we're there with last night, and Jason come through straight away. And the next two words were 50, then 9. I was like, how does that happen? Like generally, I like, and then like, because I didn't tell the guys, I haven't told the guys, and I said at the time, I was like, this is, you know, this is weird. That's a weird coincidence
Mm.
because that's what it is. It's a coincidence. It's nothing else. It's a coincidence. But I was like, how does that happen?
So did the name Jason come through and then
Yeah.
50 and then 9?
Yeah.
Right.
Straight one after another. And I was just like, I was a bit gobsmacked because you're going, well, that's just strange.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, yeah.
strange, isn't it? And like, So like some of the customers always ask about, like the apps on the phones and stuff like that. And again, I'm of the opinion where I don't know, there's just something with me where it's using a phone, you've got a microphone on it, you've got all these different things on a phone nowadays. Again, use it to lead a conversation and to lead a group, but whatever comes through, it's not gospel. But some of the stuff we've had through on the application when like customers are using it and stuff like, and you're going, that's just like a massive coincidence of it, like some different words coming through and like sentences coming through. Generally, like sentences don't come through on like the phone applications and stuff, but like actual physical sentences. It's just weird. It's just really, really strange.
Yeah.
My biggest piece of weird kit evidence that I've had recently was we're leading a group up at Carlisle Masonic Hall. But you'll know it's not the temple, but it's like a meeting room.
Yeah.
Where like you'll have like your dinners and like where you'll host guests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're doing Human Pendulum. The guy in the middle's got headsets on and like which again, Human Pendulum, I try and make sure they've got headsets on, they can't hear, and any questions that people ask, they're quiet. Because again, I don't want the thing of, well, they can just hear us. You know what I mean? Anyway, he had the headset on and he had the SB11 in his hands at Spirit Box. And have you guys used the SB11? Do you know what it is? Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, it's the dual channel Spirit Box, isn't it? Yeah.
So you'll know generally a lot of stuff that you do get through, it's like radio words that come through. Yeah. And you can hear it because you might get like a tiny little bit of like a song or something, like something, just something. Anyway, we're sat there in the room and one of the guys asked a question. The guy in the middle was a Freemason. He was one of the Freemasons. And we had Daddy, child voice come through one after another within like, I reckon 2 seconds of each time. And I was like, that is strange because it's going to skip through all the radio frequencies forward and back. It shouldn't pick up the same word 3 times, one after another. And it was bang on. Like even like everyone was like, "Oh my god!" It was a child's voice, like bang on a child's voice.
Yeah,
weird.
But if you like reading about that stuff, I can recommend a bloody great book, and it's called "The Ghost of 29 Megacycles," and it's all about early research into ITC communication, and it is. Right, okay. It'll frighten you to death. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Have you been to Cave Castle before? Do you know of it?
No, so I mean, as soon as you sent us the invite to it, I had a little Google Maps just to see where it were and whatever. Yeah, we're excited. I think we're all going to come over. We're all going to stay over as well.
Fantastic!
I think we're all looking forward to having a couple of drinks with you all after as well and having a good chinwag.
Well, if you're going to book a room, mention the event because you'll get a discount.
Excellent. We're all excited to see all of you guys. And can't wait to rub shoulders with you. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be super.
By the way, as well, the guys are. When I say not happy, I don't mean like angry, but I think we are going to go dressed as the.
Excellent.
As what?
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, brilliant. We were talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah.
So just to tell you where the idea of Scooby Doo. So our logo. It's the one I said from day one. I wanted the logo to be the his pendulum, not pendulum. What's it called? His
dog tag.
His collar. His dog tag.
Yeah.
So the shape of our logo is
the rhombus.
Why the Scooby Doo thing is.
Brilliant.
That'll be great.
That comes from having a company that it's cool, fun to be around, and not black and white and dark colours, and you know what I mean. That was the idea. So yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, when people said what's the dress code, I said come in whatever you want, fancy dress, smart, casual, whatever. So I think that's brilliant.
That's what I mean. Like I said, from earlier on, the subject of paranormal, it's so serious in people's minds, and you've just got to have a laugh. And yeah. I
think we had this conversation last week with someone, and they said, "Oh, well, come as you want." I said, "I'm going as Lady Gaga," and Mark said, "Oh, you probably would."
Brilliant. Hopefully, we can do like best dress. That's what you'll have to do. You'll have to do best dressed or something like that. Best fancy dress.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing a lot of prize giveaways as well, so we can include that into the prizes, can't we? It was lovely meeting you and having a quick chat before the event.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely have to come up in November to the Masonic Hall if the invite's open at the time. You'll have to let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.